Hi, good morning students. Last class we have already discussed the syllabus of corporate accounting. So altogether there are 5 modules. First module, final accounts of companies. Second module, acquisition and profit prior to incorporation. Third module, amalgamation, absorption and reconstruction. Fourth one, liquidation of companies. And the last one, final accounts of banking companies. Okay, so shall we start? We will start with the first module, that is the final accounts of companies. Okay, before going to this final accounts of companies, what do you mean by final accounts? Now, final accounts are those accounts which every organization prepare at the end of the accounting period. And usually it consists of profit and loss account and balance sheet. That is, profit and loss account is an account prepared for the purpose of knowing the result of trading, that is whether there is profit or loss. Then the balance sheet, it's a statement prepared for the purpose of knowing the financial position of every organization at the end of the accounting period. Okay, now we can see what about the final accounts of companies. So a company, like any other organization, must prepare its final accounts annually. So annually or every year at the end of the accounting period, a company, just like any other organization, that is sole trader, partnership firm or anyone, the company will also have to prepare the final accounts. Then the second point is, it is a statutory obligation on the part of the joint stock company to prepare final accounts under section 128 of the Companies Act of 2013. We all know that the Companies Act was the Companies Act of 1956 previously, then now it is the Companies Act of 2013. So it is the statutory obligation of every joint stock company to prepare the final accounts under section 128 of the Companies Act of 2013. Then the final accounts are accounts or statements prepared at the end of an accounting period. It's already stated. Okay, so final accounts are those accounts or statements prepared at the end of an accounting period. Now the final accounts of a company consists of balance sheet and profit and loss account. So just like any other organization, the final account of company also consists of balance sheet and profit and loss account. Okay. Then we can see the form and contents of balance sheet. The balance sheet of a company should be prepared in the form given in Part 1 of Schedule 6 of the Companies Act of 1956. So previously, the balance sheet of a company should be prepared in the form given in Part 1 of the Schedule 6 of Companies Act 1956. The balance sheet should be prepared in vertical form. So while discussing the syllabus itself, we have already discussed that previously the final accounts of the company was prepared in the horizontal form. That is the form which we use for sole trader, sole proprietorship business as well as partnership firm. Okay, now the balance sheet of a company should be prepared in vertical form. Now as per the new Companies Bill 2012, this has been numbered as Schedule 3. So in the new Companies Bill 2012, the balance sheet has been numbered as Schedule 3. So this is the format of the balance sheet of a company, and you have to study this format. Okay, so this is the format. At the top, we will write the name of the company, then the balance sheet as on a particular date. Then we will start with equity and liability. Now in case of horizontal form, the equity and liabilities, or the liability side will be the left hand side and the asset side will be the right hand side. But here it is a vertical form, so we will start with equity and liability. So under equity and liabilities, there are 4 items. The first item is shareholders funds. Second comes share application money pending allotment. Third is non-current liabilities, and fourth, current liabilities. So these are the items coming under equity and liabilities. So the first item, shareholders funds. Now under the shareholders funds, again there are 3 items. That is share capital, reserves and surplus, money received against share warrants. Okay, in detail we'll study later. Then the second item is share application money pending allotment. Then third is non-current liability, that is long-term liability. Then under the non-current liability, the items are long-term borrowings, deferred tax liabilities net, other long-term liabilities, and also long-term provisions. So these are the items coming under long-term liability or non-current liability. Then comes the current liabilities. So here also there are four items, that is short-term borrowings, trade payables, other current liabilities, and short-term provisions. Now we can move on to the asset side or the asset part. Okay, the asset part consists of two, that is non-current assets and current assets, that is long-term assets and short-term assets. Now under the non-current assets, it comes fixed assets, non-current investments, deferred tax assets net, long-term loans and advances, and other non-current assets. Now again, under the fixed assets, there are tangible assets, intangible assets, capital work in progress, intangible assets under development, and also fixed assets held for sale. So these items are coming under the head fixed assets. So the main heads are fixed assets, non-current investments, deferred tax assets, net, then long-term loans and advances, and also other non-current assets. Then the current assets. Now current assets consist of current investments, inventories, trade receivables, cash and cash equivalents, short-term loans and advances, and also other current assets. So this is the format of balance sheet. First is equity and liability, then asset. Okay, equity and liability mainly consists of shareholders funds, share application money pending allotment, non-current liabilities, and current liabilities. And the assets consist of non-current assets and current assets. Now we will see this in detail. So first we can see the equity and liabilities. Okay. So balance sheet is a phase of financial statements. So this can be the features of balance sheet, that is balance sheet is a phase of financial statements. Hence, note to accounts must be given to specify a particular item. Now note these points, that is note to accounts, then note number, etc. we will see. So note to accounts must be given to specify a particular item. Then details of every item must be given at the end of both current year and previous year. So in the format itself, there are three columns on the right side, that is one is note number, then comes current year, that is items current amount current year and amount previous year. So details of every item must be given at the end of both current year and previous year. Then the details are shown in the note to accounts. Then every item in the balance sheet must be given note number. Now we will see this in detail. That is note to accounts. What do you mean by note to accounts? So note to accounts are a form supporting information that is usually provided along with the company's final accounts or financial statements. So this note to accounts is used both in case of balance sheet as well as profit and loss account, that is a final accounts of a company. So this consists of the supporting information that is usually provided along with the company's final accounts or financial statements. Okay, so many such notes are required to be provided by law, including details related to provisions, reserves, depreciation, investments, inventory, share capital, employee benefits, contingencies, etc. So for all these items, the description or the details should be given in note to accounts. Then this note to accounts acts as supplementary information furnished along with the final accounts of a company. The information supplied depends on the accounting standards used, such as IFRS or GAAP. Okay, so the information provided in note to account, this depends upon the accounting standards used, such as IFRS and GAAP. Okay, then comes note number. What do we mean by this note number? So the note number is given in note to accounts as well as the financial statements. So it is a number in note to accounts that explains the items in financial statements assigned with that number. So in financial statements, whether it is a balance sheet or a profit and loss account, we will be giving a note number. And the very same note number will be given in note to accounts also. So this is a number in note to accounts that explains the items and financial statements assigned with that number. Okay. Now we will start with the items in company's balance sheet in detail. So we are starting with the liability side, that is equity and liability. So you know, under the equity and liability, the first item coming was shareholders funds. And under shareholders funds, the first item is share capital. Now what are the details that should be given under the head share capital? Okay, details of share capital should be shown in note to accounts. So in final account or the balance sheet, we will be writing the final amount only, and all the details to share capital, it will be given in note to accounts. Okay. Now under the share capital, we have to give the details like number and amount of shares authorized, issued, subscribed, called up and paid up. Then par value of shares, shares reserved for issue under options and contracts, commitments, etc. So all these things should be shown. So what is meant by this authorized, issued, subscribed, called up and paid up? So these are the different parts of share capital we can say. Now what do you mean by authorized share capital? Now authorized share capital is that share capital with which the company is registered, or the company is authorized to raise. So authorized share capital is that share capital with which the company is registered or which is given under the memorandum of association. Okay. Now come to issued share capital. Now issued share capital is that part of the authorized capital which is issued to the public. So issued share capital means that part of authorized capital which is issued to the public. Then subscribed capital. Subscribed capital is that part of the issued capital which is actually subscribed by the public. Okay, that part of issued capital which is subscribed by the public. Now called up capital is that part of the subscribed capital which is called up by the company. Then paid up capital. Paid up capital is that part of the called up capital which is already paid by the subscribers. Okay, so authorized capital, the capital with which the company is registered. Issued capital, that part of authorized capital which is issued by the company to the public. Then subscribed capital is that part of the issued capital which is subscribed by the public. Called up capital means that part of issued capital which is called up by the company. And paid up capital means that part of called up capital which is actually paid by the shareholders. Okay. Then unpaid calls should be deducted. Now what is meant by this unpaid calls? That is actually the difference between called up and paid up value. So sometimes the company will be called up the capital, but the entire amount may not be paid by the shareholders. So actually the difference is called unpaid calls or unpaid amount. So unpaid calls should be deducted. Then forfeited shares should be added. Okay, so that is the first item, shareholders fund. And under the shareholders fund, the first item is share capital. Then the second item is reserves and surplus. So reserves and surplus. Reserves and surplus include, now what are the items which are being included under reserves and surplus? We will see. Okay, so reserves and surplus include capital reserve, then CRR, security premium, ORR, revaluation reserve, general reserve, etc. So whatever be the type of reserve, it will be coming under reserves and surplus. Okay, then surplus, that is balance in statement of profit and loss disclosing allocations and appropriations. Now what are the allocations and appropriations? That is transfer to reserves, dividend, bonus shares, etc. So after adjusting, additions and deductions are also shown. So apart from these reserves, the surplus in the profit and loss account will also be shown under the head reserves and surplus. Now, debit balance of statement of profit and loss, that is loss. So, debit balance of statement of profit and loss shall be shown as a negative figure under the head surplus. So, these are the items coming under reserves and surplus. So, all types of reserves and also the surplus in statement of profit and loss. And in case it is a debit balance, it will be shown as a negative figure under the head surplus. Then, money received against share warrants. This is the third item. Usually these items may not be there. The main items are the share capital and also reserves and surplus. Now, money received against share warrants. A disclosure of money received against share warrants is to be made since shares are yet to be allotted against the share warrants. Now, what is meant by this share warrant? Share warrant is a financial instrument that gives the holder right to acquire equity shares. So, share warrant is a financial instrument that gives the holder right to acquire equity shares. So, a disclosure of money received against share warrant is to be made simply because the shares are yet to be allotted against the share warrants. So, these are the items coming under shareholders fund. Then the second main item. So, there were 4 items under equity and liability. Now, the first item was shareholders fund. Now, the second one is share application money pending allotment. So, the amount received on the application on which allotment is yet to be made. So, this is what is meant by share application money pending allotment. So, the amount received on application but the allotment is yet to be made. So, such amount is called, or such amount will be coming under share application money pending allotment. Now, the third main item is non-current liability, that is long-term liabilities. Okay, under the non-current liabilities, the first item is long-term borrowings. And again, under the long-term borrowings, there are bonds and debentures, term loans, and the term loans may be taken either from banks or from other parties. Then, deferred payment liabilities, deposits, loans and advances from related parties, long-term maturities of finance, lease obligations, other loans and advances. Now, it should be specified. So, these are the items coming under long-term borrowings, that is bonds and debentures, term loans either from the banks or other parties, deferred payment liabilities, deposits, loans and advances from related parties, long-term maturities of finance lease obligations and other loans and advances. And usually the coming items will be bonds and debentures, term loans, then and sometimes other loans and advances also. So these are the usual items coming. Then comes deferred tax liabilities. So the second one, deferred tax liabilities. So this is the liability which arises to the company due to the timing difference between the accrual of the tax and the date when the taxes are actually paid by the company to the tax authorities. That is, taxes get due in one accounting period but are not paid in that period. Usually the tax might be due but it is not already paid. Such amount is known as deferred tax liability, that is deferred for future. Okay, so liability which arises to the company due to the timing difference between the accrual of the tax and the date when the taxes are actually paid. That is tax which may get due but it is not yet paid. Such liabilities are coming under deferred tax liabilities. Then the third one is other long-term liabilities. It is again classified into trade payables and others. Then the fourth one is long-term provisions. It is not known, it is long-term provision, So classified into provision for employee benefits and others. So others, it should be specified. Then current liabilities. Okay, so under current liabilities, first one is short-term borrowings. Now short-term borrowings are again classified into loans repayable on demand, and again such loans are also taken from banks or from other parties. So just like long-term loans, Now these short-term loans can also be taken either from banks or from other parties. Okay. Then loans and advances from related parties, deposits and other loans and advances. It should be specified. So these are the items coming under short-term borrowings. Okay. Then comes trade payables. Now trade payables usually includes sundry creditors and bills payable. So these are the items coming under trade payables, sundry creditors and bills payable. Then other current liabilities. They are classified as current maturities of long-term debt, then current maturities of finance lease obligations, interest accrued but not due on borrowings, interest accrued and due on borrowings, then income received in advance, unpaid dividends, application money received for allotment of securities and due for refund and interest accrued thereon, then unpaid matured deposits and interest accrued thereon, unpaid matured debentures and interest accrued thereon, and also other payables. So all these items will not be coming. Only some of the items will be given in questions. So, and the items which is given in the question only you need to write. Okay. So the various items include current maturities of long-term debt, current maturities of lease obligation, interest accrued but not due, interest accrued but due, then income received in advance, unpaid dividends, application money received for allotment of securities and due for refund and interest accrued thereon, unpaid matured deposits and interest accrued thereon, unpaid matured debentures and interest accrued thereon, and finally other payables. It should be specified. Then short-term provisions. Fourth one is short-term provisions. They are classified as provision for employee benefits and also others. It should be specified. Okay. So these are the items coming under current liabilities. Okay. So that's all regarding equity and liabilities. Okay. So next class we will study about the asset part of balance sheet. Okay. Thank you.